Hey, what's up? This is Michael Galvez. I'm going to talk about storytelling. And it is so important to be able to tell a story. It's an art. And the reason why I'm particularly excited about this topic is because it's important in many aspects of one's life. I think it's what makes you human. It's this ability to tell a story and capture someone's attention. So there's even books written on this topic about how to bring up certain things and inspire people. And so, you know, when you're a child, your parents read you stories, right? And as you get into high school, when you become a pre-med student, you have to tell people your story. And even when you're a physician, you present stories. You present a patient that you saw in clinic. You present and you present it in a way that's succinct and a way that gets to the point and captures someone's attention, the attending that you're presenting it to. And you want to be able to, even when you tell the story, you also have to be able to write down the story. We document stories in the medical chart. And so typically, those are stories about patients, but when you're telling stories about yourself, it's inspirational and it captures people's attention. And so this goes into a topic of interviewing, and interviewing is you can talk a lot about interviews and the specific nuances about that, but a common frequent question that you get is, tell me about yourself. And that's your time to really tell a story and capture someone's attention. And this doesn't just come, this isn't something that like, here's my story. I grew up as, when I was a child, I did this and that. It's something that you really have to break down. You have to write it down. You have to practice. You have to figure out what's relevant or not. And so there are specific steps to storytelling, and you can look this up online. You can buy a book about it. There's things like knowing your audience, knowing the order of the story, make them care about your topic, have punchlines, things like that. And again, a reoccurring theme throughout one's life, and I think it's important in being a physician. So it's also limiting. So if you're not able to tell a story, that can really differentiate you between other applicants. For example, when you're applying to medical school, your personal statement is your written down story, and then the tell me about yourself, you're going to get that every single interview when you apply to medical school. And you're really telling people your experiences that you've had when you break this down, and when you tell them the story that you've created and you've made a timeline for, and you've had the specific punchlines for. So, I'm going to have a separate video about my story, and I'm going to break it down into a minute, and I'm going to break it down into a much longer story. And it depends on, you have to know your audience. You have to know how much time you have, and to break down the tell me about yourself, and in order to not bore people really, and keep their attention. And so that just comes with gauging their level of interest. So again, you want to take this seriously. Like the ability to tell a story is something I think that's innate in human beings and innate with becoming a physician. And I hope that's helpful, and it will help you in many aspects if you're able to practice it and play it out and work on that tell me about yourself. I hope that's helpful. Thanks.